Thank you for joining us for CBN NewsWatch. I'm Ephraim Graham. The latest Republican effort to repeal and replace Obamacare collapsed Monday when two more Republican senators announced they were not supporting the bill. That means there are not enough votes to pass it. Charlene Aaron has this story.
Senators Mike Lee of Utah and Jerry Moran of Kansas sealed the measure's doom late Monday when each said they would vote no in an initial critical vote that had been expected as soon as next week. Moran said, "We should not put our stamp of approval on bad policy." The bill needed the support of at least 50 of the Senate's 52 Republicans. But with a total of 4 Republican senators now declaring their no votes, the bill appears to be dead on arrival. On Sunday's Meet the Press, GOP Senator John Cornyn said that if the current bill didn't work, Republicans would have to try a different measure.
If we're not successful now, I assume we'll keep trying, but at some point, if Democrats won't participate in the process, then we're going to have to come up with a different plan.
For now, it appears that different plan will be trying to simply get rid of Obamacare now and working on a replacement that would come later. Majority Leader Mitch McConnell said in a statement late Monday, in the coming days, the Senate will vote to take up a repeal of Obamacare with a 2-year delay to provide for a stable transition period to a patient-centered healthcare system that gives Americans access to quality, affordable healthcare. In a late-night tweet, President Trump echoed that sentiment, again calling on Republicans to just repeal failing Obamacare now and work on a new health care plan that will start from a clean slate. Dems will join in. But a straight repeal of Obamacare could also have a tough time passing the Senate and would also have to get through the House before it went to President Trump. The failure also affects the president's tax cut plans to strengthen the economy, because the White House and Republicans had hoped to use the savings from repealing Obamacare to help get tax cuts for businesses and individuals through Congress. Charlene Aaron, CBN News.
The Trump administration says Iran is technically in compliance with the 2015 nuclear agreement, but that country is, quote, unquestionably in default of the spirit of the deal. The White House says it will extend sanctions relief for Tehran, but plans to impose new sanctions for non-nuclear activities, including the development of ballistic missiles and supporting terrorism. Reuters reports both President Trump and Secretary of State Rex Tillerson believe Iran remains one of the most dangerous threats to U.S. interest in and to regional stability. Thousands of evangelical Christians gathered in Washington, D.C. to support and defend the Jewish state. CBN's national security correspondent Eric Rosales has more now from the 12th annual Christians United for Israel Washington Summit.
President Donald Trump and I will stand with Israel always. Of that you may be assured.
Vice President Mike Pence promised a crowd of more than 5,000 at the Christians United for Israel Summit that the U.S. Embassy in Israel will be moved from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem.
It is not a question of if, it is only when.
That's welcome news to founder Pastor John Hagee and a CUFI membership of more than 3.5 million. Hagee brought the crowd to its feet when he boldly said Israel is not an occupied territory.
The Palestinians have no claim to Jerusalem. It belongs to the Jewish people.
Many of those in attendance say it's not just about being politically correct, it's about being right with God and defending Israel. Many say that this summit allows them to be educated, to be able to go back home and defend Israel.
Everybody's on the same page. Everybody's working toward the unity, and the scripture tells us to pray for the peace of Jerusalem.
CBN's own Emily Jones highlighted the anti-Semitism taking place against Jews on college campuses.
What is so disgusting is what was once reviled as blatant anti-Semitism is now called the new social justice movement, except this time there are no safe spaces for Jews.
The vice president ended his speech by quoting Jeremiah 29:11 and then told the crowd that the best days of Israel are yet to come. Eric Rosales, CBN News, Washington.
Emergency crews have identified the 14 people caught in flash floods at a popular swimming spot in Arizona. One man, Hector Miguel Garnica, remains missing. A group from Phoenix met Saturday at the swimming hole, but an intense thunderstorm caught everyone by surprise. 9 of the victims lost in the flood were members of the Garnica family.
It's something that we wish was a dream we could wake up from, to know that they are okay and they are alive, but we know it's not.
Rescue workers have stopped their search for that missing man. And still to come here on CBN NewsWatch. See how a vacant hospital has been transformed into housing for the homeless, and meet one family who is calling it a place of refuge. It was once a hospital in Kansas City, Missouri. Now it's home to families who used to live in pay-by-the-week motels. It's also the vision of a pastor who wanted to show love to his community in a tangible way. Charlene Aaron first brought us this story more than 7 years ago when the ministry got its start. She returns now to Kansas City to give us an update on the River of Refuge.
Mario Glenn is enjoying raising his 7 children from the comfort of his new 4-bedroom apartment. A big change from where the single dad and his kids once lived after losing their home.
We ended up moving with a friend in a 1-bedroom apartment.
Mario's family is one of several that live here at the River of Refuge. I'm actually standing in one of the apartments here. It's all part of a vision to help the city's homeless have a safe and comfortable place to call home.
Pastor John Wiley is the motivating force behind the program. In 2009, he told CBN News of his dream to turn the vacant Park Lane Hospital into transitional housing for the homeless.
It's a place of refuge where they can get healed with dignity and move out with their own money.
That dream recently became a reality when the first families moved in.
Well, it feels great. It's surreal. 7 years of believing that this was possible. We've helped hundreds and hundreds of families over 7 years, but we couldn't bring them here and give them a transitional place, but now we can. So here we are in a former 150,000 square foot hospital dedicated to families that are living in homelessness.
Wiley says the journey has been long and hard, but worth it.
There were many nights where halfway through this project, I'd wake up in the middle of the night thinking, what have I done? Because we had so many obstacles that seemed to be in the way. But over 7 years, I've watched obstacle after obstacle become removed. And so what it's done for me personally, it's changed my faith. And love compelled me to not walk away and to not give up and to persevere.
Families here live rent and utility free during their entire stay, as a team of caseworkers provide them financial counseling. While learning to break the cycle of homelessness, they can also save money and pay off debts. An on-site pantry allows families to restock their kitchens with non-perishable food, and there's a used clothing store where they can shop for clothing. Program Director Stephanie Keck says rising unemployment and utility costs have forced many families out of their homes, creating demand for programs like this.
The first 24 hours, I had close to 30 people calling for help just in that first 24 hours. And we still get on average probably 20 people a week asking for help. This morning, I had 6 calls for people asking, can I apply for your program?
Michelle Robinson moved here from Florida with her husband and 2 small children. Soon after arriving, her husband's job fell through, and River of Refuge gave them a lifeline.
We were living in a hotel before here, and the length of time just drained our savings, and it was a matter of a week we were going to be in our van. So it was by the grace of God that I found this place, and we were able to move in here and have a roof over our head.
Mario admits that he initially felt skeptical about the organization.
I didn't even believe it was real. When I got in here, I was here sitting around waiting on, like, okay, what's the catch? It's always a catch, but it wasn't a catch here. They just generally want to see people do better.
For that, his children are beyond grateful.
Most of all, it's not a lot of weight on my daddy, because when we had to keep moving around and he had to pay the rent, and now here you don't have to pay rent, but you have to save up money for your next house.
Not even enough breath in my body. How many thank you they deserve for what they have helped us with and done for us.
Wiley makes it clear he didn't do this alone.
So much has happened where I had the idea of doing this, but really it's not about me, it's about all the people that have donated and believed in it. We had one company donate $1.2 million for a new roof. All the materials, all the labor. Another company came and did $300,000 to build out the 11 units. The UMKC, University of Kansas City, Missouri, gave us over 200 oak bunk beds, donated the first week we opened the hospital.
CBN also played a huge role. When CBN's Gordon Robertson saw Wiley's story on the 700 Club, he invited him to CBN to learn more about the project. Wiley left with encouragement and the largest donation River of Refuge had received at that time.
That gift that CBN gave grew and grew and grew, and it's grown to be worth millions now of other contributions. And I think about the families that are living here now, the hundreds of children, and the families that will come here for decades to come will all be touched because of the generosity of CBN and its donors.
For now, 11 apartment units are complete, and River of Refuge needs more financial help before it can bring in more families. Meanwhile, Wiley shares this encouragement for pastors across the country.
You don't need a lot of money or a big building. What you have is the most incredible gift. Love attracts a crowd. Love is the most compelling force. There are motel families in every city, in every municipality, and I challenge my friends who love Jesus. Go find a motel family and don't try to fix all their problems. Just become their friends. Ask them what they need. Open your living room. Open your checkbook. And love the people you see.
Charlene Aaron, CBN News, Kansas City, Missouri.
Up next, the Southern California pastor who opens his door to the homeless and Hollywood's elite. Meet author and TV host Shawn Bolz when we return. Shawn Bolz is an author, producer, and television host with a prophetic gift, and he's using it to connect Hollywood to heaven.
Is there a Justin and Stephanie? Y'all know Justin and Stephanie? Oh, you're here for real. Thank you.
Shawn Bolz begins with just a few words.
I'm seeing July 15th over you. What is that? Your birthday. And who else's birthday? Your daughter. That's so cute.
What follows is a very specific message he hears from heaven.
The Lord said there's a family calling on you, and I feel like he's saying, like, he gave me your names because he really wants you to feel known.
What's the importance of prophecy in people's lives? Why do you seek to do that and desire to do that and have God use you that way?
I think we have this omnipresent God who's everywhere at once, and yet he's the only God who will have relationship and be present and connect with us right now in the here and now. And prophecy causes us to know that the God of all the universe, who's looking at 7-point-whatever billion people, is stepping into our moment and saying, I value you. You really are mine. I really care about you. Like, what's important to you is even more important than me.
Here in Hollywood, Shawn walks red carpets and prays with celebrities like director Mel Gibson, Redskins running back Shawn Alexander, and film and television legend Pat Boone. Shawn is also a best-selling author, host of Dreams and Mysteries on the Daystar Network, and travels the world sharing practical wisdom about how anyone can hear the voice of God. 10 years ago, he and his wife started Expressions 58. While the Los Angeles church is open to all, it attracts two very different groups of people: the homeless and Hollywood entertainers. Those on the street who are homeless, prostitutes, abandoned to the rest of the world, invisible. Why do those people stand out and touch your heart so much? Why do you find yourself reaching out to them with the prophetic?
I think what I love about hearing God's voice is that when you hear God's voice, you can close the reality gap between heaven and earth, meaning there's things that God wants to do that he said he will always do. Isaiah 58 talks about loving the poor, loving people who no one else sees, loving the foreigner. And that's our kingdom, our Christian mandate to do. But when you hear God's voice, you can actually bring a restoration that no natural process can bring, or a moment in time that can lead them to a breakthrough moment, an aha moment to say, God's with me, he loves me, and can be a real turning point, even if it still takes a lifetime to overcome. And for me, you can't hear God's heart without having compassion.
From the least of these to Hollywood's rich and famous.
I heard when I first came here, Sean, I'm homeless in Hollywood, will you build me a home?
That call contradicts the popular notion Hollywood is godless.
Hollywood is like one of the most alive spiritual places there are. It's just that I think there's not the same moral compass. And morality to me is like, it's a virtue, you have to pursue it. And a lot of people who come into a leadership influence because of their talent and their gifting, we expect them to have the moral influence then as well. They may not have ever had a moral compass in their life, a father figure, a mother figure. And so we put this expectation, well, you're now leading a society, so you better be okay in all these areas. And so then when they're not, we judge them. They did a survey a couple years ago, one of the film groups, and they said, how many of you who are working in major studios are there because God, as a Christian, sent you there? 18,000 people responded and said, we're here because God sent us here. 18,000 people. We're involved with so many churches here locally, and makeup artists and singers and songwriters and all these backup singers and like all these managers and agents, writers. They're all so involved with their faith, doing things that are so profound. And then you'll have one person who proclaims to be a Christian and who thanks God at the Academy Awards and then has 7 girlfriends at the same time. And we judge all of Hollywood's Christianity by that. And it's really sad because we get disappointed in what they're not. As opposed to celebrating what God is doing, we look at what people are doing and we go, oh, okay, that's what Hollywood's like then. And it's not true.
Sean's new home is in the heart of Studio City. He showed me around the place where countless movies have been shot, including scenes from Batman with Michael Keaton. Marilyn Monroe also spent time on the property where her postage stamp photo was likely taken. These days, the only snapshots are of Sean, his wife, and their 2 young daughters. But it's home base as he works to connect Hollywood and heaven.
The average person only lasts 2 years in Hollywood and pursuing their dream, and then they go home because it's too hard. And if they last more than 2 years, there's some baggage that happens just because how hard it is here, And so when we came here, I didn't really know. All I did is the people and loving them was my vision. I didn't know how to build a structure around that. So we built a church, and it's a beautiful church. Love the church. But in this phase, we're mostly working with people to find their empowerment and who they really are, so that they can go into it before maybe they come into their fullness. They can have a great sense of self-connection and God connection, so that they don't make the same mistakes. And we have a lot of older, seasoned people helping to pour into that, and it's a beautiful process to watch.
Israel is becoming known not just as the land of the Bible, but as a place of innovation and technology. It has a biblical zoo, and now Jerusalem is opening the first aquarium of its kind in the Middle East. CBN Middle East correspondent Julie Stahl reports it promises to tell Israel's water story.
This tunnel under the Mediterranean Sea exhibit is bound to be one of the main attractions at the new Gottesman Family Israel Aquarium, Jerusalem. The tunnel is part of a 400,000-gallon tank at the aquarium, which is part of Jerusalem's biblical zoo. It will hold sharks and other fish from the Mediterranean Sea.
We are addressing and emphasize only one issue, the local habitats. We will deal only with the Med Sea, the Mediterranean Sea, the Red Sea, little bit of the Sea of Galilee and the Dead Sea.
Biblical Zoo and Israel Aquarium CEO Shai Doron said one of the main thrusts is to raise awareness about wildlife habitat preservation in the sea.
Not only to look what the sea can give us to us, fishing, desalination, gas drilling, oil, transportation, security. We need to start as in Israelis and tourists from all over the world to start to understand that the sea, the ocean, is an habitat.
The aquarium aims to have something for everyone, like this interactive pop-up. It puts you right in the middle of the Red Sea coral reef, surrounded by clownfish.
In here, wanted to address some zoom-in phenomena, like the fact that we have rays in the Med Sea.
In other places, visitors have to search for the treasures.
It's, again, part of, the new trend of visiting zoos and aquariums. Not everything you see immediately. It's discovering process.
In a pre-opening tour, CBN News was given a behind-the-scenes look at the core of the aquarium, the Breeding, Research, and Quarantine Center.
We are above the big med tank. This is the access for the aquarists, for the divers, to come and to take the daily walk.
The path ends at what's called the Commitment Room. There, visitors are urged to pledge to protect sea life by promising not to drive 4x4s along the shore and not to take seashells or bring plastic bags to the beach.
When we are finding a shark or a whale or sea turtles dead, we open the stomach, we see it full of plastic bags. Why plastic bags? It's not tasty, but those creatures think that those are plastic bags are jellyfish.
Even though there are great aquariums around the world, Daron says this one has something special.
The view of Jerusalem Hill is part of the experience. This view is unique only to Jerusalem.
Julie Stahl, CBN News, the Israel Aquarium, Jerusalem.
Time now for your Tuesday tweetable. Consider this. God often speaks in the stillness and the quiet of the day. So, how can you truly hear him if you are never silent and listening? And the key here is to be silent and listening. You need to do both of them. With that word, make this a terrific Tuesday. That is going to do it for this edition of CBN NewsWatch. Remember, you can find more of our exclusive coverage of the issues you care most about at cbnnews.com. We'd love to hear what you think about the stories you've seen here. Email us at newswatch@cbn.com. We'll see you back here tomorrow.